Welcome to the Portraits Whisper, where our guest storytellers are portraits, paintings, and artworks. Here, every canvas breathes and every brushstroke hides a story waiting to be told. Tonight's whisper is from our guest, Little Red Riding Hood, an oil painting based on a wood engraving created by the French artist Gustave Doré for Les Contes de Perrault, the fairy tales of Charles Perrault, published in 1862. I am Doré's canvas, and I remember every girl who has clutched this blanket. My paint holds their terror. My oils keep their wide eyes open forever. Tonight it is Lisette. The cottage was quiet, save for the hum of a fly at the window pane and the rustle of the embroidered bedsheets. The late afternoon light filtered through lace curtains, painted dusty stripes across the wooden floor. Lisette clutched her basket, the promised cakes and wine feeling like a heavy burden, and the handle cut into her fingers, the weight of the food pressing down as if she carried her own fate inside it. She had felt eyes on her in the forest, black eyes glinting between the trunks, but the trees whispered nothing, and she hurried until the path broke free into the clearing. Now she stood at the foot of the bed, a nervous tremor in her small hands. Something was wrong. The room smelled of wool left too long in the rain, and of something sharper, like iron. Grandmare's bed sat in shadow, the coverlet pulled high, the bonnet large upon her head. The shape beneath the blankets was not small and fragile, but long, stretched. The rise and fall too deep, too slow. Grandmare's face, framed by the old-fashioned bonnet, was a pale, unfamiliar mask. The shadows from the bedside lamp exaggerated the gaunt features, the long nose, the pointed chin.
"My, what big ears you have,"
Lisette whispered, her voice barely a breath. The words felt like a litany, spoken by 100 little girls in 100 quiet rooms. The figure in the bed shifted, and a deep rattling cough escaping its lips. "The better to hear you with, my dear," came the hoarse reply, the sound like gravel in a sack, fetid with musk and damp earth. Lisette drew a sharp breath.
"My, what big eyes you have."
Her own gaze locked on them, pools of wet amber glinting in the dim light, bright, wild. The figure on the bed leaned closer, its cough rattling into a growl. "The better to see you with, my dear," it rasped, each word steaming the air between them. Lisette's eyes drifted from the cap to the creature's clawed hands, twitching restlessly atop the quilt. Then she saw the teeth. They were no longer Grandmere's small, worn pearls, but long, jagged spikes, stained with something dark and slick. A cold dread, a thing of ancient horror, snaked its way up Lisette's spine. Her chest rose and fell haltingly. She clutched the blanket in her fists, knuckles whitening. For a heartbeat, she thought of Grandmere's gentle hands sewing this very lace, guiding her own fingers on a thimble, teaching her the neatness of a stitch. She wanted that memory to hold, but it slipped away, like thread through a needle's eye.
"Oh, Grandmere,"
she said, with her voice now a frantic, tiny thing.
"what big teeth you have."
The wolf's smile widened, a cavernous, terrifying gash in the darkness of the bedclothes. "The better to eat you with, my dear," he growled, the voice no longer a poor imitation of a frail old woman, but a wolf's true predatory snarl. The world seemed to fracture then. The hum of the fly turned into a buzzing of 1,000 trapped souls. The lace curtains shimmered with spectral forms, not spirits, but memories of other girls in red cloaks, their faces twisted in terror. Lisette saw a flash of another cottage, another little girl swallowed whole, a ghostly procession of the devoured, all staring out from the forest of the wolf's shadow. Lisette's terror was a new thing, sharp and cold, unlike the familiar fairy tale she had been told. This was the original story, the one from before the hunters came, the one meant to scare little girls straight. She was not just a girl with a red cloak. She was an archetype, the newest sacrifice in a long, unbroken lineage. The cakes and wine in her basket meant for the ill felt like an offering to a monster. The wolf lunged, and Lisette screamed, a sound that echoed not from her throat, but from the depths of a timeless, echoing dread. A scream that seared across the room, across my very canvas, into me. It joined the endless chorus of other girls who have stood in this place, who have clenched this lace, who have spoken this litany before the wolf's gaping mouth. Lisette's hands tightened on the blanket. For a heartbeat, she thought of Grandma, frail and kind, swallowed whole. And as the bedclothes became a smothering weight, she saw one last vision, a hunter somewhere in the forest, just beginning to stir. But it was a dream of rescue with axe and courage, but not here, not in me. My oils know no hunter, my brushstrokes offer no reprieve. This tale belongs to the wolf. The wolf's teeth descended, and Lisette was just another soul in the spectral parade, her red cloak a bloodstain on the wolf's memory, a dark cautionary tale waiting for the next little girl to stray. And I, Doré's canvas, will remember Lisette, as I remember them all. You have been listening to The Portraits Whisper on Storylink Radio, where every canvas has a story to tell. Be sure to subscribe and listen for our next guest, for the gallery never sleeps, and another canvas is already waiting to whisper.